Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I want to get a little bit more personal and actually share with you a bit more about myself and my story. Now the reason for this is that, as you probably know, in most of our videos and vlogs there's very little about what I do other than obviously being a dad and a husband to Adanna. And that's obviously the nature of the vlogs. When I'm at home during the weekends, that's when we obviously can shoot a lot of stuff, or when I can shoot a lot of stuff together with Adanna and Kian. But that also meant that a lot of people kept guessing on exactly what I do. And I also, by the way, came across recently an Instagram post of somebody in length discussing what a lazy stay-at-home dad I am apparently, that Adanna is married to, and all I am is just a father and a husband and whatnot. Which in itself, to be honest, didn't bother me much. It was quite hilarious, to be honest. But I thought, you know, both of these together, a lot of people are sending us these questions about myself, and then also this post. I was like, you know what, let me actually introduce this. So we have actually partnered with Skillshare today for this video to bring you this sort of my journey and what I actually do. But I will address Skillshare a little bit later in the video and exactly what they do and why we're partnering with them. So let's start from the beginning. I believe my journey and my career path really started when I was about 14-15 years old. And what happened basically was that my mother, and we all know the parents in retrospect are always the ones who actually, you know, were right and were helpful. At the time I thought she was a little bit annoying, because what she did was she kept on asking me about exchange years and whether I wanted to go abroad. Now I was like a 14-year-old boy who had no interest in going abroad. I wanted to be with my friends and, you know, enjoy high school and whatnot. But eventually I listened to her, I looked into it, and I decided to actually do an exchange year. So I ended up with 16 years old going to Brazil for 1 year. Hence I speak Portuguese as well. And I had an amazing year, and that really opened my eyes for the first time about the beauty of getting to know another country, getting to know different people, languages and cultures, and really sparked this international interest and global view really in me. At 16 years old, obviously had a huge impact on my life. So that sparkle that I had when I was 16 in Brazil really stayed with me throughout high school, and I really wanted to take this to the next level, and, you know, was looking for the next adventure. And in Germany actually we have this thing where men have to do a compulsory social or military service after high school. And I really thought, let me take this opportunity again. I might not get many more, and go abroad again. Now at the time you have to remember that this wasn't very usual or common at all. So none of my friends did that. You know, I didn't even know anybody at the time who was going to do that. So I really took that sort of leap of faith in a way, and decided to go abroad. Now I wanted this time, again, another brand new thing. Now I've been to Latin America, Brazil. Now I thought, okay, you know what, another continent, and I decided to go South Africa. Now again, some of you that follow us regularly and watch our videos might have seen some of the videos a few months ago when I went to South Africa, and I've actually revisited some of the places and some of the people that I met, my very good friend Bonga, as you know by now. And at the time I was telling you what an important time that was for me, really, South Africa. And again, that little bit of risk I took of going there, not knowing anybody, you know, never having been to Africa before. But it really changed my life in many ways. I think both professionally, but most importantly personally. I worked there with some social projects. I worked a lot with orphans and in the rural communities around Durban and Pietermaritzburg basically. And I mean, if you're a young boy, you know, growing up in Germany and whatnot, I mean, it really opens your eyes to a lot of things. I think most importantly, one of the key lessons that I took from that was that number one, I learned what it really means that we're all equal. And I know it's very easy to say, but until you meet somebody your same age, but, you know, growing up in a different place, and just by virtue of being in a different country, in a different environment, you know, they don't have the same opportunities. And, you know, but they have the same dreams as you and so on. That really opened my eyes, and really I think I started to value so much what I have, which yeah, made such a big impact on my life in the long run. And I think another thing I learned during that time is how important it is to take action. So if you feel strongly about something, or if you have the sort of drive inside you, you know, just go for it and try something and do something about it. I think it's so important to focus on the, you know, what you want to do. Because what I actually ended up doing from that experience in South Africa was I got together with 2 of my friends who I met in South Africa, and we started an NGO. That again, of course, is a huge learning curve. And I'm proud to say that actually this year we're celebrating 10 years of existence. We have helped way over 100,000 kids and teenagers. So I'm very proud of the NGO. But I think looking back, to be honest, what followed South Africa was probably the most important year of my life and the most life-defining year or time actually. And basically what happened was that I went back to Germany. I did not enter university straight away, but I had a gap year in between. I worked as an assistant teacher with handicapped children for that 1 year and really took that time for myself, if you want. You know, took a long break, think about everything I had experienced in Brazil, in South Africa, what I really want to do, what I really feel strongly about, because of course I grew up with certain views of what I would like to do, and etc. But honestly, with this international exposure, it completely changed. And I really needed time to digest this. And I think, again, looking back, Adanna talks about this a lot as well when it comes to sort of personal development, about reflection. Now, it was a little bit long time to reflect, a whole year, but again, it couldn't have come at a better time. So it wasn't just on a personal level that I really wanted to find myself, but also very practically speaking, I wanted to see, okay, what are the things I really want to know better? Or what are the things that I really would like to know how to do? So I took a lot of online courses, for example, on finance. I took on project management, on email marketing, and there are all these very, very exciting stuff, languages as well. And that is also one of the reasons, by the way, we've decided to partner with Skillshare for today's video, because Skillshare is a large online training resource basically. They offer over 15,000 online courses for you. And it's super simple and very, very effective to use. Premium membership starts at about $10, so it's very, very affordable as well. When you sign up for a course, you get several hours of video material. They give you some class projects. Every course has a community. So it's very, very nice and very easy learning at your own leisure and speed. I think this is what, for me at least at the time, made the difference. I was working during the day. I wanted to do these courses in the evenings and on the weekends. And it's totally up to you when you want to do it and how much you actually want to get from it. I think this is another element that is so crucial when it comes to career development. The best lessons and the best skills you can get when you're willing and ready for them. Meaning you need to be ready in your mind to learn. You need to want to learn. And that's the best. And this is why I think these online resources from Skillshare are so valuable for your own life, because you decide what you want to learn and when you want to learn it and how you want to learn it. We are going to provide a link down in the description box below. So check it out, have a look around, and if you're interested, sign up for Skillshare as we have. After I spent that year really trying to find myself, I then actually ended up going to university in England. And as you all know, on a personal level, that was another life-changing decision, because obviously that's where I ended up meeting Adanna. But basically I spent 3 years at UEA, University of East Anglia, shout out, in Norwich in England, doing my undergraduate degree. That also, I believe, through my motivation prior to that and my full-on commitment to the degree, I was certain what I wanted to do. I was 100% committed, and also I valued this opportunity so much more than I would have normally, just because I know how many people out there probably would never get this opportunity, like my close friends from South Africa, etc. So I really had this intrinsic motivation to do super well, and really wanted to make myself proud, first and foremost. I was lucky enough, I ended up with a first class. After that I went to London. I did a master's at the London School of Economics, LSE, for 1 year, which was also amazing. And this was, by the way, something that I never thought I was able to achieve. Honestly, I never thought that I'll be able to go to the LSE, but I had some good mentors on the way, very good professors at the university. My sister has played a big role in motivating me all the time and always pushing me a bit further and further. And I think by the time it came to the end of the masters, I had already accumulated several skill sets, I believe, and I had developed a very, very strong idea of what I wanted to do. I always worked on my profile as well, so exactly like who am I, what am I good at, what am I not so good at, and I was also very proactive in my approach. I think that's another very, very key element to anything you want to do. If you have a particular idea in your head, if you have something you want to do, you want to achieve, you have to be very proactive about it. You'll be surprised sometimes on how much you can achieve if you just actually go for it and try. So early on during my masters, I went out, I networked, I liaised, I contacted people, used my mentors, etc., my personal networks, and I was able to immediately secure a job after my masters. So that's when I ended up in Mozambique. Very beautiful country, by the way, everybody from Mozambique, shout out. Great place. I stayed in Maputo and I spent some great months there working with the government. Again, fairly unknown territory. I didn't know anybody there. At the time, a lot of people were still a bit unsure about Mozambique and Maputo, but to be honest, it couldn't have been a better time for me. Great learning as well, but especially professionally here. I've learned a lot when I worked with the government. And one thing that I in particularly learned in Mozambique, I think, was you never know what is the right path to your goal. And what I mean with that is that I never thought going to Mozambique or doing anything like I did in Mozambique would ever be part of my journey. But it came up at the time and I just took the opportunity. So this really taught me, to be honest, that you might have obviously a dream in mind, you have a vision, but do not focus too much on how you get there, because life will just throw things at you and a lot of different ways can lead to your goal. And in Mozambique being a best example, because from Mozambique on then, I was able to secure the next opportunity, and only because I was in Mozambique, I was even eligible to apply for my next job. I had this local in-country experience, I was in Africa, I had some great contacts there. So that's when I found this opportunity to go to Kenya. And I was on mobile banking. And again, this is something I'd mentioned before to all Kenyans. You guys know this by heart. Kenya is super famous for mobile banking and M-Pesa and Mshwari and all these different products. So I had the unique opportunity and privilege of working as a consultant on a lot of these financial products. So I did about a good year or so I spent in Nairobi. Amazing opportunity. And again, that then was the door into the more tech sector. Right? Because prior to that, I never had any experience specifically in the tech industry or online industry, and it was Kenya at the end of the day who really opened the door. I built my network again. I was very proactive about it. I was very conscious about it. And also, by the way, I also spent a lot of time in Kenya in the evenings doing online classes. So again, coming back to Skillshare. And I ended up using that time to study. So I really tried to push myself at that time, because I think as soon as you feel 100% comfortable, you should change something. You should never feel 100% comfortable, because then there's a danger you'll fall into a routine. I believe between the ages of 18 to 30 at least, you need to make sure that you're always at your optimum performance, and you learn the most, you get the maximum out of everything. And as soon as you feel there's routine, you need to change quickly. Because there's no better time during that period to learn and to stimulate your brain. And after that year in Kenya, I finally went for the big move. Obviously now I've been together with Adanna now already for a couple of years. I decided to move to Dublin, where Adanna had already started, of course, medical school. And we've been having this long distance relationship for a while. But I have to admit that at the time, I actually moved from Kenya to Dublin without a job. And I know my parents weren't particularly happy about that. I took the risk. I said at the end of the day, if this is gonna work out, and obviously I was convinced it would at the time, then any sort of financial problem, anything where I might not be with the job for a few months, or maybe not immediately get to the level I want to be or something, would be worth it in the long run. Because the one thing that most people regret when they get older are the personal elements. That they weren't close enough to their spouse, or that they didn't keep up the relationship with their siblings or their parents before that, etc. It's always personal. The good thing was, after about a month of being here in Dublin with Adanna, or roughly a month, 6 weeks, I was able to secure my current job. And now to the ultimate question, what am I actually doing here in Dublin for the last almost 5 years? Now, I can tell you that I basically work as a business consultant for one of the large tech companies here in Dublin. I've done this previously for the German-speaking markets in Europe. And right now I'm covering actually Sub-Saharan Africa. So I'm responsible for the entire Sub-Saharan African market. And I look after our clients there and help them with their business. So I think for me, if I would have to look back and kind of try to bucket the things that I believe have helped me the most in my career, and were the most important lessons that I've learned in my career, is of course, as so often, always to take risks. The best things have come out of something where I really wasn't sure about it beforehand. I really felt uncomfortable in a way, and it was a huge risk for me to take. They always turn out to be the most beneficial and most rewarding experience. Always go for what is uncomfortable. As I said before, if you feel too comfortable with something you want to start new, or something you are currently doing, if that is too easy, too comfortable, too routine, especially if you're younger, immediately change. Now the next element I would say for me is always keep ahead of the competition, or keep an edge. And this specifically ties back to the online courses, and always trying to add something to your resume, add something to your skills. So sometimes these things could be for the purpose of building a resume, a CV, very specifically, professionally speaking, but sometimes also just purely because you want to develop your own skill set. So it could be a personal motivation or it could be a professional motivation. Make sure you take time to reflect. Make sure you have regular moments or times for yourself to really think of, are you on the right track? Why has this worked out or why hasn't this worked out? What do I want to achieve next? How do I want to do it? It is so important, and I've come across a lot of the people that I mentor or I have mentored throughout the years. This is one of the most important things, because oftentimes, I don't know if you've noticed this before, if you have a question, if you really take the time to sit down, think about it, and be honest to yourself, oftentimes you can find the answers yourself. And then last but not least, I would also say, and agree with Adanna, one of her big topics all the time is surround yourself with positive, motivating people. I think having mentors, having people who can guide you when necessary and just give some input as well is so crucial. I had some amazing people in my life. Of course, number one, Adanna. Secondly, people like, of course, my parents as well. I think everybody can say that most of the time. My sister has been a great source of inspiration as well for me. I always keep her as an advisor for me. But also a lot of very good professors, great friends, of course, that I kept throughout the years. And just people you come across in your life that you really value their opinions sometimes. And oftentimes, to be honest, you only realize the value afterward. So I hope that cleared up a little bit the confusion around what I do and a little bit more about my story, how I got to where I am right now. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, make sure you check out the link down in the description box and sign up for Skillshare. And also, of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this and many more, of course. Comment, of course, if you have any questions or if you can relate to any of those topics, or maybe if you have another idea that you believe can help people out there as well. We're very keen to hear your feedback. Thanks again for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.